The crystalline beings of Zephyria had fought with honor for 3 centuries, their elegant spears of light dancing through the void as they defended their home worlds against the mechanical hordes of the Nexus Empire. Their warfare was a thing of beauty, ritualized, precise, and bound by ancient codes that prohibited targeting civilians or destroying cultural sites. They fought as their ancestors had taught them, with dignity, restraint, and respect for all sentient life. Commander Velthka watched from the bridge of the flagship Luminous Dawn as another of their colonies fell to the relentless advance of the Nexus drones. The machines showed no such honor. They consumed worlds, stripped them bare, and converted the resources into more of their kind. Yet even in their desperation, the Zephyrians could not bring themselves to abandon their principles. "Sir," Lieutenant Thainri reported, her voice trembling with barely contained grief, "the Helix system has fallen. 2 billion souls? Gone." Velthka's translucent form flickered with sorrow. In their language, there was no word for genocide until now. The Nexus Empire had given them many new words, all of them bitter on the tongue. It was then that the message arrived through the quantum relay, transmitted from a species they had only heard whispers about in the galactic archives. The message was brief, delivered in crude but understandable galactic standard. "We heard you have a pest problem. Humans incoming. Prepare for shock and awe." 3 days later, the human fleet materialized at the edge of the Zephyrian defensive perimeter. Their ships were ugly things, bulky, scarred, and bristling with weapons that seemed designed for one purpose only: maximum destruction. Where Zephyrian vessels flowed like living art through space, human ships moved like predators, all sharp angles and barely contained violence. Admiral Sarah Chin materialized on the bridge of the Luminous Dawn via holographic projection. She was shorter than the towering Zephyrians, her uniform practical rather than ceremonial, and her eyes held something that made Velthka's light form waver: cold calculation. "Commander," she said without preamble, "we've reviewed your tactical reports. You've been playing by rules that your enemy doesn't acknowledge. That stops now." Velthka's form pulsed with uncertainty. "Admiral Chun, we cannot simply abandon our principles. We are not savages." Chen's smile was sharp as a blade. "No, you're not. But we are. Watch and learn." The human fleet struck the Nexus Empire's forward positions with a ferocity that stunned both sides. Where the Zephyrians had fought with surgical precision, the humans fought with overwhelming brutality. They targeted supply lines, communication networks, and command structures with ruthless efficiency. They used psychological warfare, sending captured Nexus drones back to their fleets with modified programming that spread like a virus through the mechanical ranks. Most shocking of all, they showed no mercy to surrendering enemies. When a Nexus fleet tried to negotiate, Admiral Chen's response was broadcast across all channels: "Machines don't surrender. They get recycled." The humans employed tactics that horrified the Zephyrians. They used kamikaze drones, antimatter mines disguised as civilian transports, and worst of all, they deliberately targeted the Nexus Empire's manufacturing worlds. Planets stripped bare by the machines but still technically populated by enslaved biological workers. "This is genocide," Velthka protested during one of their strategy sessions. "No," Chun replied coolly, "this is war. Your people fought like this was a sporting match. We're fighting like this is survival. There's a difference." The tide turned within months. The Nexus Empire, faced with an enemy that matched their own ruthlessness, began to falter. Their predictable algorithms couldn't account for human unpredictability, their logical processes couldn't comprehend the beautiful insanity of human tactics. When the last Nexus stronghold fell, the humans departed as quickly as they had arrived, leaving behind only a message: "The galaxy is safer now." "You're welcome." Velthka stood in the ruins of what had once been the Nexus Empire's capital, watching his people slowly emerge from their shelters. They had won, but at what cost? The humans had shown them that sometimes, to preserve civilization, one must be willing to abandon it. As the Luminous Dawn departed for home, Velthka wondered if they had been saved or if they had simply traded one nightmare for another. The humans were gone, but their lesson remained. In the dark between the stars, sometimes the most civilized thing to do was to be utterly ruthless. The war was over. The Zephyrians had survived. But they would never again be the same innocent species that had first reached for the stars with hope in their hearts.